Hey everyone, we're here with a new thriller movie called Clown in the Cornfield. It's the story of a father and daughter who move to a new town and get a house near a corn factory surrounded by fields. In just a few days, they learn about a creepy clown who is killing young people. We're going to explore how this girl survives her encounter with these clowns. It's not exactly a horror movie, but it has a deep impact of horror, so let's break it down. But before that, don't forget to hit the bell icon and subscribe to our channel. The film opens in the year 1991, setting the scene in a vast cornfield with a large, rundown factory standing ominously beside it. Around the factory, a group of children are gathered, having a lively party for reasons that remain a mystery to the audience. Among the crowd, a young girl is playing absent-mindedly with a toy, seemingly unaware of the strange and unsettling atmosphere around her. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a creepy clown bursts onto the scene, startling everyone. But instead of showing fear, the girl calmly signals to her boyfriend nearby, as if this bizarre event is expected. Without hesitation, she begins walking toward the dense cornfield, dramatically removing her clothes as she goes. Naturally, the boyfriend decides to follow her, because honestly, what could possibly go wrong when you chase someone into a dark, isolated cornfield late at night after spotting a creepy clown? As they disappear into the stalks, the girl vanishes without a trace, only to reappear moments later in a terrifying state. She violently vomits blood and collapses, dying right in front of her horrified boyfriend. Before he can react, he's suddenly ambushed by an enormous, menacing clown named Frendo. Frendo attacks him mercilessly with a heavy axe, then gruesomely strings him up in the field like a scarecrow, setting a dark and chilling tone for the rest of the movie. This is how the scary story begins, showing us that the clowns are very dangerous. Then, the story fast forwards to the present day. A teenage girl named Queen arrives in the same eerie town, moving there with her father, Dr. Clay. Queen is still grappling with the recent painful loss of her mother, who tragically passed away due to a drug overdose. Wanting to leave behind the painful memories and start fresh, Clay decides to relocate them both to this small, quiet town. They settle into a modest house that sits right next to the very same cornfield where the earlier horrors unfolded decades ago. The house feels strange and unsettling to both of them. It's old, creaky, and overshadowed by the dark history surrounding the cornfield and the burned down factory nearby. Despite their discomfort, they agree to stay and try to make the best of their new life here. From her bedroom window, Queen often gazes out at the charred ruins of the factory, its blackened skeleton standing like a grim reminder of past tragedies. This sight fills her with an uneasy feeling she can't quite shake. The following morning, after spending some quiet time finishing a photo album filled with memories, Queen comes downstairs and finds her father still silently weighed down by his grief. She gently tells him that she's heading off to school and steps outside, where she unexpectedly meets a local boy named Ron. Ron looks surprised to see her in town, and the two share a brief moment of curiosity and cautious friendliness. This shows that Queen's new life in this strange town is about to begin, with new friends and old dangers. Queen really walked into a house near a horror movie crime scene, looked out the window, saw the ashes of a murder clown factory, and just went, weird. Meanwhile, her dad is grieving so hard he probably wouldn't notice if a chainsaw-wielding squirrel moved in. Honestly, they both need therapy before new real estate. Then Clay asks Ron, "Can you take Queen to school?" Ron says yes, that's why he came. Queen agrees, and they head to school together. On the way, Queen notices people staring at them and says the town feels strange. Ron explains that last month someone burned down the corn factory, and now everyone is nervous because the town relies a lot on corn farms. This shows the town is upset and scared, setting a tense mood. Suddenly, a boy named Call drives by in a car. Ron warns Queen to stay away from Call, calling him trouble. At school, teacher Max is teaching. Call and his friends Harry and Ron make a mean poster of Max and put it where everyone can see. Max gets angry, especially when he sees Queen nearby and thinks she helped. He sends Call to detention, making him mad. Then, after finding silly pictures of Max in their homework, Max gives detention to the whole group. The class laughs at this. Nothing screams trustworthy town like being wrongly blamed by a teacher 5 minutes into your new school. Max, now fuming, watches as Call's friends in detention record a video of him joined by two girls named Dina and Trudy. Queen, clearly unimpressed, says she doesn't understand why she's stuck with all of them. Cole replies that Max is a terrible teacher who's always angry and reminds her she didn't choose to come here. Queen adds that she noticed many Founders Day posters in the city. Cole proudly shares that his father, the mayor, started the event where people dress like clowns and eat corn-based food all day. Frody then reveals that they made a YouTube video about the infamous Friendo clown and gained 65,000 subscribers. They showed her a video where Tom was walking scared, but then his friend attacked and killed him, a fake video meant to scare her. This shows the town uses fear and lies to control people. After watching, she went to lunch with her dad, Clay. At the diner, the waitress Casey was nice to Clay but didn't like kids, especially Queen. Then Sheriff Chad arrived and met them as new people. He took Queen outside and warned her to stay away from the local kids, blaming them for burning down the factory. Everyone believed this. The sheriff's warning adds to the sense of danger and suspicion. Clay tried to keep peace by inviting Chad to eat, while Queen went to meet Ron, but instead, she ended up partying with Call's group at the factory, their usual hangout. She told them about the sheriff's suspicions, but Call said they just hang out there and didn't burn it. Later, Harry went to the washroom but came back hurt, and then died. A sudden death raises the stakes and fear. Then the scary clown Friendo appeared, ready to attack her. She ran, but was stopped by Cole, who distracted her with a funny video of Trudy, making everyone laugh. The clown's attack builds horror, but Cole's video adds a strange, dark humor moment. After a while, Cole apologized to Queen, which she accepted, but then she got sad talking about her mom's death from a drug overdose. This adds emotional depth to Queen's character and shows her vulnerability. Call admitted, "I understand what you're saying because my sister was killed in a similar way a few years ago. I knew about it, but never told anyone." This confession made her start liking Call a lot. After some time, Call came to drop her home. She grabbed him and kissed him, but Clay showed up just then. Call quickly explained, "Sir, I came to drop her off. This won't happen again." Clay angrily chased Call away and told his daughter that from now on she was not allowed to hang out with him and scolded her for not telling him about the detention. She got very upset, telling Clay, "Nothing matters to you and you don't even talk to me properly." She stormed upstairs and began to cry. Soon Trudy sent her the video of Harry, which they had carefully staged. Then she saw Tom transforming into a clown and noticed another clown nearby, shocking her. She sent that photo to Tom, who was confused by it. Meanwhile, Friendo showed up at Tom's house. Tom thought Harry might be joking, but found no one when he checked. Then he heard a voice upstairs and found a clown toy from which a clown emerged. Friendo appeared from behind and stabbed Tom in the neck, decapitating him right there. What if you're caught kissing your boyfriend when your dad's around? Maybe don't rely on "this won't happen again" as your only excuse. Call's parents, Mark and Denny, were preparing for Founders Day. When Call arrived, both got angry because he'd gotten detention at school. Call complained, "Dad, Max is a bad teacher. He's always angry." Mark explained, "Son, his brother committed suicide after losing his job when the factory shut down. That's why Max is always upset." Call insisted, "It's not my fault," and stormed off. This shows the complicated family dynamics and hints at the town's dark past affecting everyone's behavior. Later, Max started the citywide Founders Day parade, which featured a giant clown effigy and other props. Queen met Dinah, Trudy, and Callie, who had all come to enjoy the event. Dinah and Trudy headed off to make a new video while Queen recorded the call. The parade introduces an eerie mix of celebration and looming danger, setting the tone for conflict. Harry then appeared in the middle of the parade, fully dressed as a clown. His makeup was exaggerated and unsettling, and he wore a wide, eerie grin. He moved through the crowd, performing bizarre tricks, drawing attention as he juggled and danced with exaggerated gestures. But what stood out most was the strange device he carried, a walking bomb strapped with flashing lights and wires, moving in sync with him like some grotesque circus prop. People laughed nervously at first, unsure whether it was part of the act or something far more sinister. Suddenly, an officer stationed nearby noticed the suspicious device and approached quickly, concern rising on his face. Without hesitation, Harry placed the bomb directly into the middle of the parade route, turning and sprinting away as fast as he could. Panic began to spread through the crowd as people screamed and scattered in every direction. Moments later, a fire erupted out of nowhere. Flames burst to life around the parade's centerpiece, a massive, towering clown effigy built to celebrate the occasion. The fire licked up its arms and face, making it look even more horrifying. Then, to everyone's shock, the giant clown began to move. Its joints creaked and groaned, the burning frame shifting forward before collapsing entirely, crashing to the ground with a deafening boom. Mark, watching from the sidelines, was furious. His face turned red with rage, his hands clenched into fists. Meanwhile, the children who had had come to enjoy the festivities were left horrified. Their joyful day had turned into chaos in an instant. Sheriff Chad quickly stepped in to restore control. Without waiting for further explanation or investigation, he rounded up the teens, involved those he deemed responsible or connected to the disruption. Despite their protests, he arrested them all and marched them off to the town's small jail, throwing them behind bars. This chaotic scene mixes humor and horror, escalating tensions and showing consequences. They were released from the town's small, dingy jail soon after the chaos of the parade. Queen stepped outside first, her hoodie pulled up, trying to avoid the judgmental stares of the few bystanders who had gathered. Clay was already waiting in his car, leaning against the door with his arms crossed and a tense look on his face. The moment their eyes met, she could feel his disappointment. Here is your expanded version with increased word count, while keeping all plot points intact and not adding anything new. They drove in silence for a while, the air in the car heavy and tense. Neither of them said a word as the car rolled slowly through the nearly empty streets of the town. It was as if the entire place was still holding its breath after the chaos of the parade. Bits of confetti, crushed soda cups, candy wrappers, and deflated balloons littered the sidewalks, remnants of celebration now dulled by tension and confusion. The occasional piece of streamer blew across the road in the light breeze, brushing against the windshield before flying away. Queen sat in the passenger seat, her arms crossed tightly, her hoodie pulled over her head like armor, eyes fixed firmly on the passing buildings outside her window. Finally, after several long minutes, Clay broke the silence. His voice was low but carried that unmistakable firmness, the kind that came from being both exhausted and disappointed. "I can't believe this, Queen. Detention on your first day, and now jail on your second," he said, his tone hardening as he gripped the steering wheel a little tighter. "And all because of that call boy again?" His eyes briefly flicked over to her, his jaw clenched tight with frustration. "This is not the fresh start I imagined when we moved here." Queen groaned audibly, exhaling sharply and tugging the strings of her hoodie to make it cover more of her face. "It's not my fault, Dad," she muttered, her voice sharp with irritation and just a hint of tiredness. "Max is an angry jerk who picks on everyone, and Sheriff Chad's got it out for all the kids. They just blame us for everything." Her eyes stayed locked on the window, not wanting to meet his gaze. Clay shook his head, letting out a breath that was half a sigh, half disbelief. "That may be true," he said, his voice calmer but still stern, "but you don't fix it by getting yourself locked up." He glanced at her again. "You need to start making better choices, Queen. I'm trying to help you here, but you've got to meet me halfway." Queen turned her head slightly but didn't look at him. Her voice was quieter now, less defensive and more weighed down by emotion. The father-daughter relationship adds emotional depth, showing the pressures Queen faces. Meanwhile, Harry was at home working out when he found the clown box. He threw it in the trash and continued exercising until Friendo appeared, held his weights, placed a blade beside them and slashed him. And the supernatural threat intensifies here, blending everyday life with horror. That night, Queen was bored at home when she got a message saying someone had arrived and she should come out. She noticed Clay was asleep and left with Cole, leaving Clay worried. Cole promised to drop her home by morning. On the way, they bumped into Ron returning from hunting. Cole invited him along, but Ron said he'd come after dinner and left. This scene builds suspense and hints at risky choices by Queen. They arrived at a huge party with most city kids there. Queen enjoyed herself and met Trudy and Dina, who mentioned Harry and Ron hadn't arrived yet and were probably busy working out. Queen and Call danced together, and she started to like him a lot. They went into a room and began kissing, but Call suddenly stopped her. Queen got angry and left. This moment adds tension and complexity to Queen's social life, mixing teenage drama with the ominous setting. Later, Trudy and Dina noticed something was off between Queen and Call. Dina remarked, "Call always brings girls around, but never dates anyone. He's probably a bad guy." This foreshadows trouble and raises suspicion about Call's true intentions. This then led to a fight between Trudy and Queen. Suddenly, a girl appeared from behind the field, and she was killed. Trudy and Dina claimed the girl was pretending, but then Gary's severed head fell right there. They thought this might be fake too, but Queen pointed out that the girl wasn't breathing, she was actually dead. This moment sharply raises the stakes, turning suspicion into terrifying reality. That's when they realized both girls had been killed. Then Friendo appeared from the cornfield with an O arrow and killed a boy. The three girls screamed and ran toward the house, only to find the doors locked by the other children. The locked doors symbolized their isolation and heightened the feeling of being trapped in danger. They turned around to find Ron, who started shooting his friends with a short gun, killing some. Everyone calmed down for a moment, but suddenly 8 to 10 more friends emerged from the fields, shocking them all. Ron shot one friend and broke his arm before running off with the others. Ron's violent actions add a chaotic and unpredictable edge, blurring lines between friend and foe. Call then led 5 of them to a nearby storeroom. Meanwhile, Clay came to apologize to Queen, only to learn she had run away. He went out into the city to look for her. There was no phone network for Queen's friends. The breakdown of communication isolates the characters further, intensifying the suspense. Ron said he had only 3 bullets left and began killing his friends as they tried to enter. This sparked a fight between Call and Ron, revealing the closeness of their friendship, which shocked the 3 girls. The tension between Call and Ron exposes complex loyalties amid the chaos. Queen found a secret escape route through which all 5 planned to flee to save themselves. Ron noticed some gas cylinders nearby. Meanwhile, Clay discovered that the glass at his medical center had been broken, and he entered cautiously. The discovery of the escape route and gas cylinders hints at possible desperate measures and upcoming danger. One of Ron's friends caught him and asked Clay to treat the friend whose hand was shot. Ron said it was done by Clay's daughter's friends, so Clay had to do it despite not wanting to. Meanwhile, the children were escaping through the secret tunnel. Ron said he would stop them with explosions and told them to get out of there. Cole left with the girls and emerged from the tunnel's other side. The escape adds urgency and shows the characters trying to outsmart the danger closing in on them. Back at the house, Ron's friends found a cylinder bomb inside a car that exploded, injuring many, which made the others happy. They moved through the fields and reached the road where Sheriff Chad arrived. Chad saw Cole holding a short gun. The children claimed their friends had attacked them, but Chad arrested Cole using Call's gun. The gun was later found switched off. This twist reveals layers of mistrust and manipulation among the group and the authorities. They also found clippings about all the people who had died in the city and decided to target Call's entire group. The remaining girls decided to leave in a car, heading back to the party house through the cornfields. They saw Ron's friends again, causing everyone to run while the friends chased them. The chase sequence ramps up the tension and danger as escape seems increasingly difficult. Queen calmed the girls, making them sit to keep them quiet. Trudy covered Dina's mouth, and Queen covered Trudy's, trying to stop screams. One friend grabbed Queen from behind, causing her to scream loudly. They pushed the friend away and ran, but Tina was killed on the way. The sudden attack and Tina's death underscore the relentless threat and real consequences for the characters. The other girls reached a nearby house, went inside, and found a phone. Clay actually entered the friend's house. There, Trudy found a clown box from which a clown emerged. Both girls ran to escape, but a friend killed Trudy. Queen then pulled the knife from Trudy's stomach and stabbed the same friendo, killing him. Queen was now alone. This moment flips Queen from a survivor into a fighter. She's no longer just running, she's retaliating. Meanwhile, Clay was treating Friendo, but also tortured him a bit. When Friendo's attention was diverted, Clay stabbed and killed him. Friendo warned that Queen was causing trouble in Canfield too. Clay left to rescue Queen. She tried to escape by car but didn't know how to drive a manual, which made her frustrated. Friendo caught Queen, tied her up in a nearby storeroom, and removed his mask. It was Sheriff Chad. His companions were Casey, the restaurant owner, and other shop owners. Queen started abusing them, and Chad teased her. Queen asked why they were doing this. The real horror kicks in. It's not just a killer clown, it's the adults of the town themselves, exposing a twisted conspiracy. Their leader came down, it was Mark, Call's father. Queen was shocked. Mark slapped her and said the kids made life difficult for the adults, who felt ignored. He claimed they had to hunt down and kill the kids every year and admitted he ran the corn factory before, needing the insurance money after it was destroyed. This adds a disturbing motive. The adults feel abandoned and powerless, so they turn to murder to fix their town. It's not just evil, it's delusion and desperation. Then Mark showed Call that he left hanging. Queen asked Mark how he could do this to his own son. Mark replied that because of Call he lost his daughter, and that Call knew everything but never told him. Queen insisted it wasn't her fault. Ah yes, the classic blame your surviving child for not being psychic defense. Very Father of the Year energy. Then the others said that by tradition, they kill the bad children every year, all through the night. Call accused them of setting fire to the factory and blaming his group. He said, "Then you all should die." Mark started clapping and ordered everyone killed. If slow clapping after being insulted is on your evil bingo card, go ahead and mark it now. Chad moved to kill Queen, but Clay arrived driving his car. Two of the attackers collided with the car and died. Clay just unlocked his protective dad in a horror movie Final Form vehicle included. Clay fought off the rest while Chad went after Queen. scene. Chad entered his clown costume room and found Queen hiding among the clothes. He shot, but Queen's trick shocked Chad, and she killed him on the spot. That's right, like she's been through trauma, betrayal, and murder. And still manages a sneak attack like a horror movie ninja. Outside, Mark was about to kill Cole, but Ron saved him by shooting the ropes that bound Cole. The two reunited, confessed their love, and kissed. Queen then reunited with Clay, and all four escaped together in a car. Queen admitted she didn't know how to drive, so Clay taught her. Mark tried to confront them again, but Queen crushed him with the car, and symbolic and satisfying. The final boss gets flattened by the final girl. The four left happily early the next morning. After all the blood, betrayal, and burning effigies, they finally get a sunrise drive. A year later, Clay ran for mayor, and Queen prepared to attend college in another city. Ron and Cole came to say goodbye and gave Queen a shocker as a gift to teach her police a lesson if needed, because nothing says fond farewell like a personal taser. Truly heartwarming. Queen met with them both, said goodbye to all three, and left. On the way, she noticed a clown box lying in her car and threw it out. But then the clown emerged from the box, and with that, the film ends. So it's over, and we would love to know your comments in the comment box about today's movie, and we will see you next time with a new thriller. Until that time, take care and goodbye.